Alright, and for part 13, if you remember, what I wanted to get done was the front mudguard, front fender struts, fit the headlamp. I need to get the horn on, handlebar switches. I was going to spray the rack. Now we'll have a look at the bike in a minute. I've done these things, but I think the last bit was the most enjoyable for me, I've got to admit, because if you remember I was testing the actual bike, testing the rear suspension, the brake. Now the brake, surprisingly, it's much better than the original 638 system, because if you remember I couldn't fit the original system because the cable was in the way of the left hand toolbox. So I'm really happy about that and surprised. Now the shock absorber, I mean, that was brilliant. I really was surprised at how well it works. Damping was really good. So overall it went really well, the test in the last vid. But I'll show you the changes I've made now, and to be honest there's not much left to do of the dry build before I can strip it and start painting the frame. The other thing is I've got a rear light now on order. That should be here soon. It's the original Joe Parak type. I'm looking forward to getting that. Right, so I'll show you the bike now and see what you think. Right, so looking at the bike now, first thing you'll probably notice is the front end, the mudguard, struts, headlamp. But there's quite a few things I've taken care of, quite a few details, and we'll have a close look at them. And there's something else as well. If you remember in one of the other vids I said I was going to make a cover for the shock. Now some have said it's best to leave that spring open, it looks better, but some like the idea of a cover. But I think I've developed an idea that'll fall straight between these two ideas. But I'll show you in a minute. I'll put the template on that I've made. But we'll have a closer look at the bike and I'll show you what I've been up to the past few weeks. Right, so the first thing then is the front mudguard. Now the front mudguard is a genuine Joe 250 592. But I've had to cut the mounts off there because obviously the forks are Joe 638. So I've cut the mounts off and re-welded 638 mounts on, so obviously the mudguard fits. Now the fender struts, the original struts on the 592 Joe, they were like flat, they wasn't rounded like the rear, like I've made these round. So these struts then, in fact these struts came with the rack, they was fitted to the rack, so that was fortunate. So I used those. I'm not sure what model they're off, I think they're actually BSI. Now the way I've mounted them at the bottom here is I've had to use the pinch bolt for the forks, that pinches the bottom of the fork to the spindle, and that's the only way I could mount them in the original style. Now the other side is slightly different, the way I've had to mount it. I've had to make like a washer type mount. You can just see there, over the spindle lot and up. So that's the way I've had to deal with it with these forks. Now the mounts are still on the original ones, on the 638 forks. I mean these will have to come off. But anyway, I'm happy with that, happy with the way that's gone. And the other thing is, it's the headlamp. Now these brackets, I've tried to make them look like the old strut type mounts, and I think they've worked out pretty well. Now the other original mounts, I think I've still got one of them round here. Now this is one of the original ones that I cut off. As you can see, they're far too small anyway. But what I wanted, like I said, was this strut type mount. So if we look over the top as well, what I've actually done, I've fitted the switches as well. Now these switches are off the Joe again, 592, original switches, and I think they look pretty well on there. Now this left one is for dip, and then you've got the horn, and on this side this is the indicator, because This bike is obviously 1991, but it's got to have indicators, which is a bit unfortunate. Now the type of indicators I'll show you the picture in a minute, but where they're going to be mounted, I think, is probably from here somewhere. I'll show you a picture of the indicators now that I'm going to use. The shape of them is pretty similar to the headlamp shape, and they're fluted as well at the side, so I think they'll go quite well. But here's the picture anyway, to see what you think. Right then, so that is the type of indicator I'm going to fit. I think it'll look pretty well. If I mount them here, so not too sure yet. I haven't made a final decision on that. But the front ones I have, they're going to be discreetly mounted just under the bars there. Actually similar to the Harley Sportster, they have them mounted just under the bars there. So that's the ideas for the indicators and the horn as well. Put the horn on. Now the only similarity to CZ, this horn, is these vertical slots, but the CZ, these slots on the CZ are quite narrower and there's more of them, but I'm happy with that. And the next thing is the back light. Now I fitted the Perak rear light, as you can see, got the number plate on as well. Now these lights, they only come with a single filament bulb, 121 watts. So what happens is when you put your lights on, the current actually goes through a resistor and the bulb lights up as if it was 5 watts reduced current. When you press the brake, it bypasses the resistor and the bulb lights up full 21 watts. But I've put a conventional twin filament socket in there, so I'm using a stop and tail bulb now. So that's sorted out. Like I said, new registration plates as well. So there's not much left to do now on the bike. One of the next things, or the final things I should say, will be that vape ignition. But there is something I want to show you as well. On this cover, I've made a template. I've finally made one of how I want the cover there, and hopefully it'll fall straight into the two ideas that I've had. Right, I'll put this template on anyway, you can have a look, see what you think. Right, so this is the idea I had then. Instead of covering the shock completely, or having like a top cover here, the top shroud cover, I thought I'd have the cover starting from the end of the card cover and then slotted obviously around the shock, round the mounts, and just curved on this tube there. But it's only a rough template. It needs working on a bit more, but I thought that's the basic idea. I don't know what you think. I'd love to know actually your thoughts on that, just to finish it off. And then here I'm going to make a cover here as well, just to go in there like so. So once that's done, then the only thing really left to do, obviously besides the vape system, is the chain guard. Now I'll do the chain guard in the next vid, because I'm going to go into some detail, because I've had a few messages asking me how I do those, especially like the toolbox and that, how I fabricate it. So I thought I'll go into some detail with the chain guard, because this guard is going to start from here, go along, curve around, and it's going to bob out slightly, just to go with the exhaust that fishtail at the bottom. So there's a similarity between the two. So in the next vid then, that's what I'll be doing, and then after that it'll be the vape system, and then start painting the frame. Right, I look forward to that, and I'll catch you in the next vid.